What's going on, world? This is your girl, Marky Lemons-Ryhal. And when I think about people on my show, because I do so many podcasts, I was on another podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I'm looking at my guest today, and I'm like, I know her, but I've never met her before. And it is because she was also a guest on the other podcast. I would like to welcome to my show, GoGo. How you doing today, GoGo?
I am wonderful. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for being here. Everything is going great today. We're recording on a Monday. I'm seeing the sun is shining. I've officially been quarantined now for 5 weeks. And I was looking at a chart the other day, and it stated that people in the Midwest are doing the best job of remaining quarantined because they're gauging how far our mobile devices move. So you up in Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin, we have been good. Okay. We've been sheltering in place and being quarantined. And what I'm noticing is we now have to leverage, unlike any time before, more social media and technology. So in doing my research on you, I realized that you are an Instagram sensation. I want to know, outside of Instagram, what other tools are you leveraging today in your business in order to pivot or maintain?
Yeah. So originally, I actually started out with Facebook. That's how it all started. I started a business page when I got licensed, and that was the first thing I had. But I started a page automatically. So it was I never really did business and personal. So I started with that. So I still have that. I still run it. It's much harder to grow it and get your audience as active as Instagram is, for example. I also use LinkedIn. That's more of the professional, side of my career. So where on Instagram I could do, maybe a office of the day and I'm on the deck and a bathing suit with a cocktail. I can do that on Instagram. I can do that on LinkedIn. And, really it barely fits in on Facebook, depending what type of audience you have. So those are my three main ones that I use. I never bought leads. All of my leads come from those sources. And I just pretty much share everything, the good, bad, and the ugly on all of those platforms. And it took me to where I'm at today.
So the good, the bad, and the ugly. I am a very transparent person. I tell everybody I have 5 good secrets that I'm holding on to. Just 5. And actually, I've told 2 over time, so I have 3 good secrets. 3 good secrets that I'm holding on to. As we think about pivoting our business, and everybody talks about being your true, authentic self. When you say the good, the bad, and the ugly, can you let my audience know something that you've shared that you think the bad or the ugly, because you have a very engaged audience. And as I keep telling people, people do business with people. So what have you publicly shared with your audience that you might think was ugly or bad? Oh, well, I've never cursed on my podcast, but oh shit. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, come on now.
Nobody can see this, or the poor people who can't see what's happening right here. I don't have my very front tooth. I lost that in a sandwich a few weeks ago, about 6 weeks ago. And then I went in to get an x-ray to get an implant, come to find out that I don't have bone there. So then I had to get bone graft, which has to heal now for 7 months before I can have a tooth. And until then, I wear this flipper. I don't know if you saw my picture with the Tiger King husband on Instagram. I said he's my.
I saw the picture, but I thought it was like a staged picture, right? So I saw the picture with the tooth missing. So let me just say what happened for those who are listening. GoGo just popped out her tooth, right? And if you go follow her over on Instagram, you know that she's drop dead gorgeous. So my mouth is still open because it gets no more transparent than that, GoGo. You know what? That right there says it all. Oh my goodness.
I have to say a word.
Well, guess what? So people now, they know you're true. Yeah. They know you're authentic, right? Anybody could essentially lose their tooth, but it's not something that they might be willing to share.
So many messages over that. It's like, I can't believe you did that. She's like, I'm in the same boat and I barely leave the house because I'm so embarrassed. And that's why I talk phenomenally, besides the fact that I have an accent, of course, but you can hear I have kind of a list. This plastic piece I have to wear, it's a ginormous piece. And I'm on podcasts, at least 2 or 3 podcasts a day, including my own lives and things like that. So I kind of have to wear it. But if I if I have a chance, it's not in my mouth because it's very annoying.
Wow. Okay. And you know what? So I have a night guard because I get grind my teeth, and then my teeth are starting to space. And I didn't want to wear it because I already have a lisp, and it gives you even more of a lisp. But guess what? As a result of today's recording, I am going to start wearing my night guard all the time. So you've helped me overcome that hurdle, that
So,
obstacle.
I mean, when somebody decides that they want a presence on social media, the first decision you have to make is that you have to be real. You cannot hide it. There's information out there about you on all they need to do is Google you. You know what I mean? So there's no fluffing, there's no, adjusting the truth. It's just be you. Also, if I can give one advice to realtors, if they have not played with the idea of having a social presence and running business and building a brand on social media, the very first decision you have to realize as a realtor is that you're not selling real estate. You're selling yourself and you're selling your services.
That's true. I joke, especially when we look at it from a licensing standpoint. Most agents forget the fact that this is an agency relationship, that them getting a house is just the fun part of the job, right? But it's so much more that comes to doing what it is that we do, and the actual sale, that's at the very end, right? Because we don't even get paid until this sucker closes. So at the end of the day, what happens before all of that? And people need to be attracted to you. And if they're not attracted to you, or if you put them down, or you signify and you joke about them, they're not going to do business with you. And
like your personality, you have to show it. They work with you because they like you as a person. And that's why, I don't even have a listing presentation because I don't have to have one. People reach out to me. I've never had a listing presentation. People reach out to me like, hey, we're having a baby. Oops. Can you come sell the house? We need a bigger one. Oh, my husband just lost their job. Can you help us? We need to relocate. Like, when can you come out? Do you have 6 o'clock today? Yeah.
okay, so now my mouth is open again because you don't have a listing presentation.
I sold them on me before I entered them on the door. I already know I have the listing when I walk in because they called me to list their home.
Right. And 67% of people do business with the first realtor they come in contact with.
Yeah.
So
and since they reach out to me, I don't have to interview for the job. Very seldom, they're honest and say, hey, we're interviewing a few and you're one of them. And for that, I'll have a pitch, I'll sell myself, but I don't really have a presentation that we sit down and go through of this is what I do. I actually have a website. I send them there, check out my credentials, check out the videos and materials that we do for our sellers, no cost to them. I do recommend, and I think a large success or the large rate of my success is that I pay for professional photography and videography on all of our listings. Picture sell, that's why picture sell on Instagram and everywhere else. It generates you the traffic, the property will sell faster, you have happier sellers, you make a quicker commission. But so many agents I still see to this day taking pictures with their cell phones where their body shadow is in the mirror of the bathroom. Like, that is not okay. When you're selling, when people are paying you tens of thousands of dollars on a transaction and you're now willing to invest, $500 on photos and video, like, this is a business. Like, you're running an official, like a real business. That it comes with some cost of doing business.
yes, it does. And nothing ventured, nothing gained. And it takes, look, scared money don't make money. It's kind of like the cliche. So let me ask you this. I came home on Friday, March the 13th, okay?
Yeah.
I generally hit 100 cities a year training realtors on social media and technology. And within 24 hours of coming home, I realized that I would be home 6 or more weeks, right? It's kind of, my whole life changed. It's like, yeah, cancellation. What are you doing different today than you were doing 6 weeks ago? What you already had a plan of action, SMART goal set up for 2020, mm-hmm. But what has changed over the past 6 weeks for you to maintain market share and continue to grow?
Yeah, so I mean, if you think about it, not much changed for me because I always had a social presence. And thankfully, social media is not shut down. Like New York, for example, they can't cold call, not until the month of September. So if your business and you're in New York and your business was cold calling from 8 to noon every single day, now what you're going to do?
Oh, I didn't know that. So you cannot cold call in New York?
Uh-uh. Because they have some really hefty fines. Don't quote me on it exactly, but they cannot cold call until September or something.
Okay.
Yeah, so many things we cannot do. So I'm in the state of Michigan. Here, as for real estate transactions, we are not considered essential, meaning we can do whatever we can virtually. So we have to improvise. But I believe, human beings are very smart. We can figure out any situation if we put our mind to it. So what we have been doing is still listing properties. We're still selling them. Some of them we're selling 3 times, but we're selling them. Because we'll sell it and then the buyer loses their job. And then we sell it again. And then the buyer walks away based on inspection. And then we sell it again. And so we are working 3 times as hard as usual, but we are able to sell them. So on the listing side, what we have to improvise is we have to do virtual listing presentation. So what my listing presentation is, even though I know I got the job, I still have to explain the process to the sellers, or what that's going to be like, what kind of documents they're going to get from me. Is there anything that we are excluding? That kind of stuff. So we'll still have a virtual presentation. Then we'll sign the docs electronically. And then from there, we'll ask them now to take the photos in the video. So they will take a ton of photos. Then I'll send that over, they'll send it to me, and then I'll send it over to our virtual assistant if she can edit them, if not to the photographer. So those going to be edited. Then my seller has to do the virtual tour, the actual video tour to the property. And that that was the funniest part, I guess, at first, because if you think about it, they are not used to selling their own home. So now I have to explain them, imagine if you were the buyer. Imagine if you saw this property without being able to enter it and feel it and smell it, most importantly. What kind of questions would you have as you walk into the property? So now my sellers are doing those walkthroughs. Then we upload it to YouTube, then we take that, turn it into a fancy virtual tour, and then we add it onto the listings, and that's how we do it. So we are not allowed to show property in the state of Michigan at all. We're actually not even allowed to leave our home, even if you have a second home. You can be on the road in between 2 properties, not even if you own them. So we are really limited of what we can do, but the buyer can, if seller and inspector allows, attend the home inspection. And that's when they get to see the property that they already have an accepted offer on.
Wow. So for your virtual listing presentations, what are your tools of choice?
Just a Zoom.
Just Zoom.
A quick Zoom call. Yeah, everybody hops on there. My husband does most of the real estate transactions right now. He's also a full-time agent, and he's taking that slowly off of my plate because, just as you said, just before this COVID happened, I'm out of state every 2 to 3 weeks, and speaking and teaching in some other state or city. So it's very hard to conduct real estate active transactions when I'm not even in the state. So my husband does most of the transactions. So he's also on every call that we do. And then him and our office manager, Christy, take the actual paperwork and the transaction from start to finish.
Okay. And what's your electronic signature platform of choice?
Yeah. So we use Dotloop.
Okay. Dotloop. Okay. You know what? That was so seamless. And what's funny, I have she's not an agent with my company. We were joking because she had a buyer interested in the property. The agent had not loaded any of the paperwork to our MLS, none of the documents, anything. And the agent told her, "Oh, I need to go to the office and fax this to you." And we just started laughing because this was at the beginning of the quarantine. I was like, how is that person going to do business? Now, in the state of Illinois, we're considered essential. And so I'm just looking at some of the differences of what you've implemented in order to remain relevant and still sell real estate. The virtual tours, I've been telling agents, one, to do the virtual tours for freaking forever, but that they should do a guided tour and they should preview the property before they allow the homeowner to go do this video, just to make sure that everything looks the way that the agent would want and to present the house in its best positive light. So I'm loving that. Zoom.us, your preferred platform is Dotloop, but people could use DocuSign. And for Zoom, we're still seeing a lot of Skype meetings. People still have WebEx, Adobe Connect. I'm just naming some of the tools, but Zoom is our preferred one. And you stated that the seller is going to take the photos and the videos, load it to YouTube so we don't have any capacity issues. Oh, you just made that seem so freaking simple. Okay, so I'm loving that.
And then we do edit them a little bit. The photos we definitely edit because in the end of the day, still taking with an iPhone right now. So I need those photos to look like it was taken with a professional camera. So we do edit them before we post them up to Realcam.
Excellent. So you're doing some editing behind the scenes. How is the transaction different today for your buyers, especially in a state where you can't physically go open the door and let them in?
Yeah, so pretty much they have to make offers sight unseen. I've never in my career of 10 years have ever made an offer with sight unseen. I always had them at least have your mother, your best friend, somebody come out with me and see the property. You know what I mean? Before you make an offer. But now we're not allowed to do that. So now the only chance is to make it a sight unseen unless we want to commit I don't want to say a crime, but go against the law to show the properties. And some agents do that. Some agents are willing to take a $600 fine to go show properties because the commission is so much higher than it's worth it. The reason I wouldn't want to do that, God forbid, what if they do get sick? You know what I mean? And then they trace it back to us or things like that. I just don't want the responsibility. So we are not leaving our houses. We are obeying the rules. Because of that, we are not able to show properties. So the buyers, sometimes they ask, hey, could we at least drive by? Could we peek in on the windows? Would the seller be okay with that? You know what I mean? So then we go back and forth with the seller. If they allow it, they're going to for trespassing. So at least the seller knows at what time somebody's peeking in on the windows. So some of them do that. But other than that, the first time they're going to see the property, if the seller allows it and if the inspector agrees, is at the time of the home inspection. And then appraisals, they come out, you have to leave the home. They will interview you first, make sure nobody's sick in the home before the appraiser would come in. They want you to leave all the lights on and all the doors open. So when the appraiser comes in, they don't have to touch anything. So they'll do that and we get the report back. And then at closing, we are not allowed to attend. Only the people that have to sign can be there, like not even husband and wife with 2 children. The children cannot be there. So only the people that are there have to sign can be there, and that's it. We can attend via Zoom if some title companies allow it, and that's about it. Then we get paid.
I was talking to a home inspector, and I'm glad that we're having this conversation because we still can attend everything. And he was asking me about how to pivot his business. And I said, well, first of all, I think there's a few pieces of equipment you should invest in. One, definitely a GoPro. 2, a 360, I'm looking around, a 360 camera, and then a drone. I said, to me today, the buyer does not have to attend the home inspection if you have 360 photography, if you have a GoPro, and if you have basically a drone, because you can take a photo and point out and basically do a follow-up consultation to walk them through that presentation.
Yeah.
Because it's all about the safety and we have a fiduciary responsibility. Okay. And so we walk through the buyer, oh, I'm loving this, the home inspector, the final walkthrough. So how has your messaging changed with any of your social media?
So right now I am not, and I never really, I guess you haven't followed me, I never really asked for business. So I'm not the type of realtor like, oh, I'm a realtor. If you need one, here's my cell phone number. As somebody need a realtor, somebody have a referral. Like I don't run business like that. So my messaging didn't have to change because it's always been about me and my mentality and, what I think about entrepreneurship and whatever that it's, then thoughts go through my head. So that didn't have to change. The one thing that we are not doing is, I don't think it's the right time right now to be asking for business. I don't think it's the right time to be pushing real estate transactions or that side of the industry. I think what we can do at this time, or what we should be doing at this time, is trying to help people. So let's say if they have financial hardship, this is the time to reach out and say, hey, I have awesome relationship with lenders. Maybe this is the time that you want to take out an equity. If you have equity in your home, just to have that cash on hand. Here are the 3 lenders that I work with personally, and I recommend them. And maybe give them a call and see if that's an option for you. In the meantime, I can run a quick CMA for you and see how much your home is worth to see if you do have equity or not based on when you bought it, how much you bought it for, that kind of stuff. So I think this is a time to reach out to people and help them versus reach out to see if they are needing to buy or sell. I don't think it's the right time. I think that will hurt anyone's business if that's what they're trying doing now.
Yeah, I've never, I don't even post listings. So let me just go with that off the back.
Yeah.
And everything is about resources. The first thing was to come back, take a look at your household budget, get rid of any subscription programs that you don't need. The next thing was, who can you call in order to get delays, forbearance, if you cannot afford it, right, in your payment, to discuss your options. Then it's all the different grants and resources that are available. And so I've never per se talked about a property. I don't think ever, in selling real estate, because to me, people want information and I don't ever want to timestamp the content that I'm posting. So I love that content. We were talking about the fact I posted a video 4 years ago and the video is still relevant, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And we as people don't change, like we age to me and we get better. One thing that I am stressing to realtors, I need them to be the same person during the quarantine as they were before. And a lot of people, because of the stress of what's going on, they've morphed into the person they really are. So I want to know, where's that fun-loving, anything is possible, against all odds, balling out of control person, right? Where's that person today?
Yeah.
When did negative Nancy show up? Like, who is this broad? Because we've never seen that side. And people's messaging is changing, and mentally, I don't even think that they have the capabilities to look at, you're not really the person you said that you were.
Yeah. And that's why I said you have to stay true to yourself, because as long as you stay true and you're not trying to please anyone and you're not trying to please an idea of who you want to be, as long as you are you, and no matter how time's changing, you will always be you.
So during this time, as we pivot, what's something new you've implemented now that we have more time at home, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. So I'm using it for gaining knowledge. I mean, there's so many things I always wanted to do, but I never had the time. So I wanted to start my own podcast. So I did that. I wanted to figure out how to trade stocks. So I did that. I got the Robinhood app. I invested money and I figured, okay, well, this is the best time to buy stocks at the downtime. So the best time to figure it out. So if I can buy $2, $3, $4, $8 stocks, and down on the road that $8 stock is $29, then I tripled my money. So I figured I use this time to gain information and gain knowledge, because knowledge is power. And I actually work more now than I did before COVID. Like I literally will come down here and work, and it's like 10 o'clock at night and I'm still down here and working, and I still haven't got to half the stuff that I needed to do. I do a lot of lives and a lot of podcasts. I try to read books that I didn't have the time to do. I try to reach out to people. We do a lot of Zoom calls and things like that to kind of stay, in touch with people. And that's not normal. Like, yes, I did Zoom for work, but I didn't do Zoom for family. You know what I mean? So I didn't do that. I also started interviewing people. I believe that we can learn from one another. One iron sharpens another. And so this is my time of interviewing people that I wanted to get to know, and how they got to where they at, who are they, why are they the way they are, what lessons they learned along the way, what life lesson took them the longest to learn. Like sometimes God throws you little pebbles, you don't listen, and then he throws a brick. And so I wanted to, I learned from other people's mistakes, so said, and life lessons. So that's one of my highs is I enjoy getting to know other people and how they got to whatever level they are at and what lessons they learned. So that's one of the things I'm doing by interviewing them.
Excellent. One of the things that I'm in the process of finalizing, I wrote the social selling journal. So I have an international best-selling book, and this was like the mock-up, the social selling journal, 66 Days to Changing Your Habits. My oldest son and I, we're writing a children's book series, so I just approved the illustrations of him. And then the National Association of Realtors, they have numerous free courses, the PSA, the ePro. I teach those, but I've been recommending those courses to people because I've already taken them. I then enlisted in a high-fee mastery course with David Newman, and I signed up with Skillshare because they are offering, I think it's 4 months of free courses. So I'm finally taking a photography course, and I purchased a new camera. And so you and I think very much alike. Yeah. I refuse to emerge the same person. I must be better. We have all this time at home, and it's like, okay, Marky, what do you, oh, I set up Calendly. I'm revamping my website. And what I decided to do was put it on my calendar in 3-hour time blocks to make sure that I get all these projects done so that whenever I hit the streets, right, I can just stand in the middle of the street and just breathe a sigh of relief and enjoy my time and not have to rush back in because we've been in for so many
So you can
weeks
look at my
now.
calendar, and this is COVID, and you can still see my calendar is down to the hour every single day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? So that was was that Google?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Google Calendar. And so yeah, this would be mine. But yeah, we are definitely, and that's if I start earlier in the day with the Miracle Morning, and I gained a lot of weight because of vein disease. I haven't gained any weight surprisingly because of quarantine. So now I'm working out online and doing just different things. So you are proof that it can get done.
Oh yeah.
You are in a state where you're not considered essential business. So that means you can't even move around like we can move
And even
around in
leave the house.
Illinois, you know, which is sad. So that means that you even have to improvise even more. I know that you're online. I follow you over on Instagram, which is why I thought the tooth thing was fake at first. I just thought
Yeah.
because I didn't read the caption, but I saw the picture. How how can one get in contact with you, do business with you, bring you in to teach their agents how to be effective? Either look, right now we're doing a lot of webinars, right? So our
Yeah.
travel schedules have changed, but how does one reach out to you?
So the best way and the quickest way is GoGo's Real Estate on Instagram. You can also find me GoGo's Real Estate everywhere, but GoGo Bethke is my name. I own GoGoBethke.com, GoGo's Real Estate, you name it, all the GoGo and real estate stuff. It's me. But the quickest one is GoGo's Real Estate on Instagram. As for how they can learn if they want a social presence, I do have a course. It's called GoGo's Bootcamp. We revamped that one too. We just came out with 102 brand new videos for that. So talking about working in this downtime. So that one, and of course, anybody can get that. They can get it for their team. They can go to the whole training. It also comes with a Facebook group. So once a month, I'll go live and teach them literally myself, and they can ask any questions. We'll build what I call their social house, their social media house. So we'll start with the foundation and we'll add on everything that I have. So then by the end of the year, they can have everything that I have and run business truly 100% off of social media.
Wow, that is phenomenal. And guess what? It is very timely. People need your course so that they can pivot their business. And no matter what's going on, they can still list properties and have buyers work with home inspectors and appraisers. So you broke it all the way down, GoGo. I truly appreciate you. You can go find GoGo. She is definitely on the gram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and then her website. GoGo, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.